In September 2024, an anonymous phone call changed Troy Landry's life forever. Wildlife agents launched a secret sting operation. What they discovered after 6 hours of watching shocked the hunting world. The king of the swamp was caught red-handed breaking the laws he'd spent years teaching others to respect. But that was just the beginning. A cancer diagnosis, a family tragedy, and bones discovered in the mud that could rewrite history. The truth about Troy's recent struggles will leave you speechless. Troy Landry was born on June 9, 1960 in Pierre Park, Louisiana. His birth wasn't just another day in a small town. It meant the continuation of a family legacy tied to the wild swamps of the Acafleia Basin. Pierre Park was surrounded by water and thick cypress forests. It wasn't easy living there. People had to work with nature's harsh conditions to survive. Troy's parents, Duffy and Myrtle, weren't just ordinary townsfolk. They were leaders in a family known for mastering the swamp's dangers. The Acafleia Basin is over 1.4 million acres, making it the largest river swamp in the United States. This place tested people with floods, alligators, and venomous snakes. Troy grew up at a time when modern comforts were rare. Many homes didn't have electricity or paved roads. From birth, Troy's life was shaped by the swamp's challenges and the strength of his family. Troy came from 5 generations of hunters. His great-great-grandfather was among the first to make a living in the swamps. He hunted crocodiles, trapped animals, gathered moss, and worked as a lumberjack. The swamp provided food and income, but it was also dangerous. The family's deep knowledge of animal habits, weather, and the land was earned through hard work. By the time Troy was born, the Landrys were famous in the region for their alligator hunting skills. Every year during the 30-day alligator season, they worked long hours and faced big risks. Their goal was to tag and catch as many gators as they could. The Landry had a reputation for bringing in massive alligators, some over 12 feet long. Stories spread about them taking down gators with just rope and determination. From a young age, Troy felt the weight of this tradition. He knew he had to honor it. Troy faced another challenge. He was born with partial hearing loss. As a boy, he wore hearing aids and learned to live in a world where swamp sounds were hard to hear. By adulthood, he was deaf in his right ear and could only hear about 20% from his left. This could have been dangerous in a place where hearing mattered, but Troy found new ways to survive. He focused on vibrations and sharp eyesight. He noticed the smallest ripple on the water or slight movement in the brush. These skills became his strength. What could have held him back helped him become one of the best hunters around. Troy started hunting when he was 12. His father, Duffy, taught him everything. This wasn't for fun. It was serious work. Troy learned how to catch catfish, check traps, and read animal tracks. On his first alligator hunt, he helped with bait, tied knots strong enough for a gator, and learned the risks of the job. By his teenage years, people saw him as a skilled hunter who could handle the swamp's dangers. These early experiences shaped who he was and how he worked. Pierre Park was more than just Troy's hometown. In the 1960s and 1970s, it was a close St. John community. People helped each other. They shared food stories and traditions. Events like crawfish boils and the blessing of the fleet were important. The St. John language, music, and food were part of daily life. Troy's parents were respected for their kindness and support. This environment taught Troy the importance of loyalty, hard work, and humility. As Troy grew older, he didn't just stick to hunting. After gator season, he focused on crawfish. His crawfish business became one of the biggest in Louisiana. Each year, starting in late November, he worked with local fishermen and farms to supply crawfish across the state. Louisiana produces over 90% of the crawfish in the U.S., and Troy's company played a big part. During peak season, his team processed thousands of pounds each week. His seafood shack served traditional Cajun dishes and drew big crowds, turning every boil into a celebration. Troy also opened the Duffy Shell Station on State Highway 70. He named it after his father. It became more than a gas station. It was a place where locals and visitors gathered. People came for fuel, bait, and stories. The walls were covered with photos showing the history of the Landry family. Even fans of swamp people visit the station today to feel the authentic St. John spirit. Troy became a key figure in controlling the alligator population. Years ago, alligators nearly disappeared from Louisiana thanks to careful hunting and conservation. Their numbers bounced back, but keeping the balance was still hard. Troy used old family methods and modern tools to manage the population. He removed problem gators while protecting those needed for breeding. Each season, he filled hundreds of tags and helped keep both people and gators safe. One of Troy's most famous moments was when he caught 82 alligators in a single day. This record amazed even experienced hunters. It showed his skill, planning, and toughness. That day helped him earn the title King of the Swamp and led to his spot on Swamp People. His achievement wasn't just about numbers. It showed how deeply connected he was to the land and how hard he worked to handle the demands of hunting. Troy built a fleet of boats and equipment on his 20-acre property. He kept at least 6 boats, each made for a special job. His gear was designed to handle big catches in tough conditions. His family worked with him to build, fix, and improve the tools they needed. This preparation allowed Troy's team to fill their tags and keep their place as one of the top hunting groups in the state. Troy Landry's life changed forever on September 26, 1981. That was the day he married Benita in a small ceremony deep in Louisiana's bayou. It wasn't a fancy wedding, just close friends and family. But what started that day turned into a partnership that lasted over 40 years. Benita, who worked as a school teacher and later as a publicist for the History Channel, stood by Troy through every struggle. The early years weren't easy. They faced tough times and money was tight. But their love and loyalty to each other never broke. That bond helped Troy become the king of the swamp and made their family strong enough to shine on national TV. After the wedding, Troy and Benita moved into a small trailer on a 3-acre piece of land in Pierre Park. They stayed there for more than 30 years. It wasn't what they dreamed of, but it was what they could afford. That trailer became a symbol of how hard they worked for a better life. Every cypress log Troy hauled out of the swamp was stored carefully, waiting for the day they could build the home they wanted. They raised their children in that tiny space. They celebrated birthdays there. They welcomed grandchildren there. It was a humble home, but it was filled with love and tradition. Their sons grew up in that world. Jacob was born on December 27, 1983, and Chase came along on February 22, 1990. Troy also became a stepfather to Benita's son, Brandon. He treated Brandon like his own from the start. The boys learned about the swamp from their earliest days. They learned how to respect it, how to survive in it, and how to hunt the alligators that lived there. The alligator season only lasted 30 days each year, but it took a full year of preparation. What those boys learned wasn't just a trade. It was a way of life. When Swamp People came on TV, millions of people watched to see that way of life in action. After decades of saving and sacrifice, Troy and Benita finally built their dream home. Just before Christmas 2011, they moved into their 1,860 cubic feet wooden house on Mike Street. Every piece of cypress in that house came from the swamps where Troy worked. There's no sheetrock in the home. The walls and ceilings are pine fitted together perfectly. Troy even built the 12-foot cypress table they eat at. The house has a giant family room 30 by 34 feet decorated with deer antlers and an 11T alligator head. Every room holds family memories, old photos, antiques, and keepsakes. That house is more than a home. It's the result of years of hard work and a dream come true. Troy didn't just hunt gators. He taught his sons everything he knew. From the moment they could hold a pole, they were out in the swamp with him. He taught them how to set bait, how to track gators, and how to respect the dangers of the hunt. Alligator hunting is one of the most dangerous jobs in the country. But Troy's sons were ready because he prepared them for every risk. In 2010, everything changed when the History Channel found Troy. On August 22, 2010, Swamp People aired for the first time. Viewers were hooked right away. They saw a real man living a real life in the swamp. Troy wasn't acting. He was just being himself. That's what made him a star. The first episode drew 3.1 million viewers. By the second season premiere on March 31, 2011, that number grew to 3.9 million. The finale of Season 2 set a record with 5.5 million viewers. It became the most watched episode in the channel's history at the time. Troy's life and work fascinated people, and his story made the show a hit. And then there was Chudom. That simple shout with Troy's Sinjin accent became famous. He first yelled it to his sons and crew when it was time to take the shot. Fans loved it. Soon it was on shirts, hats, mugs, even ringtones. Troy trademarked it and protected it because it wasn't just a catchphrase. It was part of who he was. Fans would see him and shout it, and it became a symbol of the swamp life Troy showed the world. Troy's nickname, King of the Swamp, came from the people who knew him best. Long before TV cameras showed up, he earned it by catching 82 gators in one day. He knew the swamp better than anyone. He taught his sons, led his team, and always showed respect for the land. When TV brought his story to the nation, that nickname became famous, too. In 2015, Troy Landry's life took an exciting turn. Savage Arms launched the Landry Signature Series, a collection of 3 gator-themed bolt-action rimfire rifles. These weren't just any rifles. They were inspired by the Landry family's legendary alligator hunting skills. Troy, along with Jacob and Chase, helped design them. Each rifle had a tough synthetic stock dipped in alligator-scale camouflage. They featured Troy's signature and his famous Shoot M logo that fans across the country loved. These rifles weren't made for display. They were built to handle the harsh conditions of Louisiana's Acapulco Basin, where the landers hunted for a living. The Rascal, weighing just 2.66 pounds, was a single-shot 22 LR meant for young shooters. The 2 Malawian Quachas FVSR and Model 93 FVSR were made for serious hunters. They had enlarged bolt handles, threaded barrels, and 5-round magazines. Prices ranged from $230 for the Rascal to $420 for the Model 93. So, they were within reach for many outdoor enthusiasts. This partnership was rare. It showed how Troy's reality TV fame turned into real high-quality gear for adventurers everywhere. Troy's larger-than-life personality soon led to more opportunities. In 2016, a new show called Swamp People, Blood and Guts aired. It went deeper into the tough and risky world of alligator hunting. Viewers got to see the Landry family's courage and cleverness as they faced danger head-on. But it didn't stop there. On June 7, 2018, Swamp Mysteries with Troy Landry began. This 6-episode series showed a different side of Troy. He left the swamps of Louisiana and traveled across the southern United States. He joined local experts to face some truly scary creatures. In Mississippi, he hunted a giant gator known as El Diablo. In Louisiana, he went after a man-sized garfish called Godzilla. In Texas, he tackled feral hogs. And in Louisiana's waters, he even helped deal with bull sharks. The mix of danger, mystery, and real-life problem-solving kept people glued to their screens. Then in 2020, Troy took on a new challenge in Swamp People, Serpent Invasion. This time, he and his team went to the Florida Everglades. Their mission was to help fight off the invasive Burmese pythons that were destroying the ecosystem. Troy's hard work paid off. By 2018, his net worth passed $2 million. He earned between $10,000 and $30,000 for each episode of Swamp People. But Troy didn't stop with TV money. He built a business empire. He sold branded merchandise like clothing and outdoor gear. He started Troy Landry Productions to protect his catchphrases and brand. He also owned a gas station, a seafood restaurant, and a crawfish business. Tourists paid for guided swamp tours, eager to see the Sinjin lifestyle up close. On top of that, Troy invested in Louisiana real estate. All these ventures kept him financially secure and deeply tied to his roots. His fame even reached the world of mobile gaming. At the height of his TV career, Troy became the star of Chudom Angry Swamp. This arcade-style game was released on Apple, Android, and Kindle. Players stepped into Troy's boots and tried to tag gators in a virtual swamp. The game felt real because it included Troy's voice, his striped shirt, and his famous catchphrases. It brought the thrill of the bayou to a whole new audience and proved how powerful Troy's brand had become. In 2021, Troy received one of his proudest honors. He was named Louisianian of the Year in the celebrity category. This award wasn't just for his TV success. It celebrated Troy as a true symbol of Cajun culture and strength. He spent his life on the waters of the Acapulco Swamp, and he always stayed true to his roots. Despite fame and fortune, he still lived in Pierre Park. He worked with his family and taught young swampers the ways of the bayou. In 2021, Troy Landry faced heartbreak that no amount of strength could shield him from. The man fans knew as the fearless king of the swamp lost his beloved mother after a long, painful illness. Her passing didn't just break Troy's heart. It left a deep emptiness in the entire Landry family. She had been their anchor, guiding them through the wild, unpredictable bayou life. Without her, the family felt adrift. Troy tried to stay strong, keeping up his image as the tough alligator hunter. But behind that image, he was a son in mourning. Fans who saw the Landrys as the definition of family unity poured out their love and support. The loss reminded everyone that even the strongest can be brought to their knees by grief. Just as Troy was trying to heal, 2022 brought another blow. This time it was his own health. Troy shocked his fans when he revealed he had prostate cancer. He didn't sugarcoat it. His words were simple and raw. His prostate was ate up with cancer. At 61, the news hit hard. Not just for Troy, but for everyone who admired his strength. His openness inspired many men to speak up about their own health, breaking the silence around prostate cancer. Suddenly, the invincible gator hunter seemed vulnerable, and his battle became a symbol of courage. Troy didn't waste time. He went in for life-saving surgery to remove his prostate. On June 1, 2022, he shared the outcome with fans. The operation was a success, though the truth was hard to hear. His prostate was completely taken over by cancer. Recovery wasn't easy. The surgery was serious. The risks real. But Troy stayed true to himself, thanking his doctors and fans and keeping his eyes on the next gator season. His honesty about the struggle made people see cancer in a new light. It wasn't just about the disease. It was about fighting back, no matter how tough the road. But as Troy healed, the family was hit with another storm. In August 2022, false reports spread like wildfire. The internet buzzed with claims that Troy had died at 62. Fans were heartbroken, believing cancer had claimed him. The rumors were so convincing that his son, Jacob, had to step in, posting a video to prove his father was alive. Troy, always ready with humor, joked about the situation to ease everyone's worry. The experience showed how fast lies can spread and how painful they can be for families already carrying so much. Despite everything, Troy's focus never wavered. All he wanted was to get back to the swamp. Just weeks after surgery, he was out on his land, spending time with his grandson and gearing up for the next hunting season. The man who had been through so much was determined to do what he loved. His return for season 14 of Swamp People proved that no illness could take his spirit. Then came another test, one that no parent or grandparent ever wants to face. On July 13, 2024, the Landry family welcomed baby Crew into the world. But joy quickly turned to fear. After 8 hours of labor, Shelley had to undergo an emergency C-section. Crew was born struggling to breathe. He spent his first 24 hours in the ICU, fighting for every breath. The family stayed strong, and soon Crew seemed out of danger. But the hospital stay uncovered another problem. His blood showed high levels of direct bilirubin, a warning sign of liver trouble. It was the start of a nightmare. In the weeks that followed, Crew's bilirubin levels kept climbing. Doctors ran more tests, including a painful cholangiogram on August 23, 2024. The results shattered the family. Crew had biliaria, a rare and deadly liver disease that strikes only about 1 in 20,000 babies in the U.S. Without treatment, the disease is always fatal. The Landry were told surgery was the only hope, but even that might not be enough. The family's world turned upside down as they faced the terrifying reality of losing their newborn. Doctors performed the Kasai procedure, a complicated surgery that gave Crew a slim chance at survival, but the odds were against him. The surgery usually works best before a baby is 8 weeks old. Crew was already past that point. Over 3 months, it became clear the surgery had failed. His liver kept getting worse. By January 25th, Crew was in end-stage liver disease and officially placed on the transplant list. His PL score started at 13, but soon rose to 31. Every day became a painful wait for a donor who might save his life. The wait felt endless. In February 2025, a potential donor appeared, but the liver wasn't a match. The family's hope was crushed. Then, at last, in June 2025, the call they had prayed for came. A matching liver was found. Crew underwent transplant surgery at Texas Children's Hospital. The operation was a success. Recovery was slow, filled with challenges. But with every small step forward, the family felt hope returning.